Welcome to the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu. Today we're diving deep into something you've probably heard a lot about lately, AI. It's everywhere, right?
It really is. And it's only getting bigger. But with all this AI talk, there's this other side to it we got to think about, the ethical side.
Responsible AI, they call it.
Exactly. And that's where this deep dive, this 1 hour guide is so valuable, It gives us this roadmap for understanding not just what responsible AI is, but like how to actually make it happen.
So where do we even start?
Well, I think it starts with like understanding what responsible AI actually means. I mean, it's one of those buzzwords everyone's throwing around.
Yeah, it can get a little fuzzy.
Right. So the guide defines it as AI systems designed, developed, and used according to ethical principles, transparency, fairness, accountability, all that good stuff. But what does that actually look like?
That's the million-dollar question.
Like, imagine you're applying for a loan,
Okay, relatable.
and an AI is deciding whether you get approved. That's happening more and more these days.
It is.
So, fairness in that situation means the AI isn't discriminating against you based on your zip code or, something totally irrelevant to your ability to repay the loan. And accountability means we can actually trace back and understand why the AI made the decision it did.
So we can see if there's any bias baked in.
Exactly.
Wow, that makes it real. Like when you put it like that, responsible AI, it's not just some abstract concept. It's about real people and real decisions that affect their lives.
Right. And that's why trust is such a huge part of this whole thing.
Makes sense. If people don't trust AI, they're not going to use it, right?
Exactly. And then all this potential, all these amazing things AI could do, it's wasted. And actually, that's something Anil Nathu highlights in the 1 hour guide, like building trust. It's not just an ethical thing. It's good for business, too.
It's like this win-win situation. Companies do the right thing, and they see real benefits. Better reputation, less risk. People actually want to use their products and services.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just about attracting customers. It's about attracting talent, too.
Yeah.
People want to work for companies that are doing things the right way.
Totally. So what's actually pushing this movement forward? Why are we even talking about responsible AI?
I think it's a few things. First, AI is like exploding in popularity. I mean, it's being used everywhere.
We were just talking about loans.
Right. Healthcare, finance, transportation, you name it. And with that increased use, well, naturally, there are more ethical questions popping up.
More potential for things to go wrong.
Exactly.
So more attention on how to do it right.
Yep. And then you have new regulations coming out, like the EU AI Act. That's a big one.
Pushing companies to be more careful.
Exactly. And then, of course, there are the stories, the ones that really grab the headlines, where AI has gone wrong, facial recognition systems that are biased against certain groups, algorithms that just amplify existing inequalities.
Yeah, those are the stories that make you think, whoa, we got to get this right.
Absolutely. And the thing is, this 1 hour guide by Anil Nathu, it doesn't sugarcoat things. Like, it acknowledges the challenges.
It's not all sunshine and roses.
Right. And one of the biggest challenges is bias. Like, how do you identify and actually mitigate bias in the data you're using to train AI? It can be so subtle, so ingrained in the data that you don't even realize it's there.
It's insidious, almost.
It is. And then even if you identify it, how do you fix it? A lot of organizations, they don't have the expertise or the resources to do this effectively.
So what can they do? What's the takeaway?
Well, Anil Nathu, he gives us this really practical checklist in the 1 hour guide. Like, step 1, establish clear ethical principles. Like, what are your values? What are your red lines when it comes to AI?
Got to have that foundation.
Right. And then build diverse teams. Don't just have data scientists working on this. You need ethicists. You need domain experts. You need people who can bring different perspectives to the table.
Diversity of thought.
Yes. And then invest in the tools. There are amazing tools out there now that can help you detect bias, understand how your AI is making decisions. Explainability, that's a big one.
So you're not just blindly trusting the AI.
Right. And don't just set it and forget it. Regularly audit your AI systems. Make sure they're still doing what they're supposed to be doing, that they haven't drifted into, biased territory.
It's an ongoing process.
It is. And I think the key is to be proactive. Don't wait for something to go wrong. Build these principles, these practices into your AI development from the very beginning.
So are there any companies that are actually doing this well? Like real-world examples?
Oh, absolutely. Like Microsoft, IBM, Google, these big players, they're really leading the charge. They're developing platforms and tools that help organizations bake fairness, explainability, and compliance into their AI systems.
So it's possible.
It is. And I think we're seeing more and more companies, big and small, Realizing that responsible AI, it's not just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do.
That's a great note to end on. This has been a fantastic deep dive into responsible AI, guided by the insights from the 1 Hour Guide by Anil Nathu. It's given us a lot to think about, both as individuals and as members of organizations developing and using AI.
I agree. It's definitely a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you're looking for more insights like this, be sure to visit the 1 Hour Guide website. You'll find a wealth of information from Anil Nathu on all sorts of business topics.
It's definitely worth checking out.
And as we move further into this age of AI, it's a question we all need to ask ourselves. What role do we play in ensuring its responsible use?
It's a question worth pondering for sure.
Thanks again for joining us.